Welcome to the third and final part of my conversation with Ben Davies on his short story collection, And So I Took Their Eye. In this section, Ben gives his recommendations for related reading. If you haven't yet watched or listened to the first two parts of our discussion, I suggest doing that first. And if you have any questions or comments or recommendations of their own, please do leave them below the video. Welcome to the third and final part of my conversation with Ben Davies on his short story collection, And So I Took Their Eye. If you haven't listened to or watched parts 1 and 2, I suggest doing that first. So in this section, your chance to give your recommendations. I'm curious to hear about your retreat. I don't know, what do you call it? A retreat center, a retreat residency?
Yeah, residency it's a residency is what we're trying to build it up as. So inviting writers and artists to come down to this space in Guatemala that we built a few years back, and we've got this writing studio in the back, and it's a beautiful space. It's a very relaxing space, and as I said, I had this, I've got this relationship with this village in Guatemala, which I still go to regularly. And we wanted to, with this house that we built, we wanted to do something that was trying to bring some kind of positive tourism into the community. The tourism's really exploding currently, and bringing a lot of good things with it as well. There's a lot more opportunities and a lot of good, things that are appearing for locals there, but also it brings with it different sides. And I wanted to do something, or me and my wife wanted to do something that was going to draw creative people who could then hopefully share it with other people and come there and enjoy the space and tell more people about it, was the idea. So we've been running it for, over a year, and we've had a number of writers go down. We've had photographers, we've had poets, we've had screenwriters who have all used the space to kind of just get away. We don't lead anything. It's very much just giving them a space to work on whatever it is they're working on.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, as I said, watch the video on your website. It looks amazing. So I'll link to that in the comments. And can you tell us a bit about the book you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, so the book is kind of very linked to all of these things. I feel like I'm a broken record on some of this stuff, but the book, I've kind of done a final draft of it, but it's very much influenced again by this village in Guatemala, and also by the coup that I was talking about earlier. But it's kind of imagining if things had gone in another direction. At the moment, this village, there's a lot of good tourism in there. Obviously, there's problems, as there is with anywhere when kind of rapid development happens and gentrification, for want of a better word. But the book kind of is, again, a multi-person narrative that explores a village kind of losing its soul as a lot of Western tourism comes in and kind of takes over it. And it's about one character in particular who's trying to fight for the village and what he believes the village should be, and how the toll that takes on him and those that are close around him. So yeah, I'm kind of finishing up at the moment and looking to hopefully get it out there.
Brilliant. Okay, well, do keep us informed on when it's published. Yeah. Okay, so any other recommendations for, any other related literature that you think people who enjoyed your work might be interested in?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of books that really influenced me in the writing of this. I think I mentioned that earlier in the podcast, that I used to read a lot of, I would say, British literature, a lot of political people like, Jonathan Coe or Kingsley Amis, and that was kind of where my reading was at. And then I started to broaden my horizons and read a lot more translated fiction, and that really helped develop my writing, because I saw that there were writers who were just like throwing the rule book out and doing things in completely different, amazing, creative ways. And there were so many different ways to write, and it was so exciting and thrilling. Fernanda Melchor is, I talk about her a lot whenever I speak to people about books I like, but who wrote Hurricane Season and Paradise, and they are, I don't know, have you ever read any of her work?
I have not, no.
She's Mexican. The books are all set in Mexico, but it's kind of relentless kind of prose where there's no full stops, and it's just sometimes like pages and pages without a paragraph break or a full stop, and you kind of can't escape the novel. And they're very dark and twisted and intense, but it's just brilliant. It's incredible writing. So I'm a
Hurricane
huge
Season
fan
in
of hers.
Paradise.
Yeah. Hurricane Season especially is the one I recommend. So she had a big influence. I actually started this collection and started writing again because I'd recently finished a book called Chinaman by Shehan. I want to get his surname right, Karen Nutalaka, who wrote The Seven Moons of Marley Almeida, which I think he won the Booker. But he wrote this other book. His debut book was this book called Chinaman, which is all about cricket, and it's set in Sri Lanka as well. And it's this brilliant kind of crazy novel that goes in a million different directions, but it's all about this deep love of cricket. And I finished it, and it inspired me to start writing that cricket short story.
Oh, brilliant.
And
Okay.
he's just another incredibly creative writer who I just like it when, they're not things happen in that book where it's just different to how you were taught to write or how you were taught to read or how novels used to be. And I love it when writers take very creative risks. He's one who does that.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I downloaded Seven Moons. That's next on my e-reader. So I'll look at Chinaman as well as a cricket fan too. So that'll be
Okay.
good to read.
Yeah, no, Seven Moons is brilliant. Seven Moons is arguably a better book, but I have a kind of a deeper affection for Chinaman.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, there's another book I read recently was called If an Egyptian Cannot Speak English by Noor Nagar. And again, another very creative book told through like two different viewpoints, but then it kind of has the last, like part 3 is set in a grad MFA group where they're discussing the novel that you've just read. And it's kind of meta, but it's actually a really interesting discussion about this novel and who gets to tell these stories and what they think of the characters, which then is a reflection on the novel itself. And that was another really, wonderful book. I think there's so many, it's a hard question because there's so many brilliant books right now. I think there's an amazing time for literature. It's hard to keep up. I have a book pile that's just like endlessly growing and I'm never on top of the amount of books that I want to read.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, my next academic project is on transcultural fiction. Nice. I don't know when it will end because there's so much. And you're right. I mean, the state of the world at the moment in general is not great, but I think there's so much, I'm sure there's more work to do, but so much exciting fiction and good translation at the moment.
Definitely. Yeah, I think there's been a translation, especially. I think there's been there's been a real appreciation of translators and how hard it is, the amazing work that obviously the author is doing, but the translator is a author in themselves. And I think that's really grown. And there's been, maybe with the International Booker and that, there's just been a bigger emphasis on translated fiction and presses as well that have appeared that are solely focused on translated fiction, which is, it's amazing to see.
It is, yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for those recommendations and thank you for the conversation. Been great having you on. And wish you every success with And So I Took Their Eye and, of course, with the upcoming novel. Hope that makes it out and into print soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on here. I've loved this discussion.
Great. You're very welcome.